of course, a Lunar Reflections show, which is a time where we like to kind of be present and think about the ways that the astrology is showing up for us in the wider world, for clients, kind of whatever feels like the best examples and the best things that to, oh, yay, sound is on. Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's not a Mercury retrograde, but that doesn't mean we can't have tech problems.
No, but there's a lot of Jupiterian energy right now, and Jupiter is expansive and can be in the clouds, and so it's okay.
Thanks for bearing with us. All right, so we have a couple things that we wanted to chat about today in regards to the moon. And before we dive into that, we didn't pick a crystal to spotlight this week, but I have a crystal that I wanted to share with you guys. And the idea behind this and what I was thinking about is picking a crystal for yourself that makes you either laugh or find joy or just make you feel good. And so for me, that is my new little crystal duck. Look at this guy. He's a little shiny with the light, but made of onyx and aragonite, and his name is Aragon, and he is just the dang cutest thing ever. And the other night I was holding him and I just was laughing and laughing and laughing, and then I started cry laughing, and it was just so much fun. And so his energy just brings me up, and I definitely think that it's a good crystal to choose for this month, something that lifts you up and brings you into that more optimistic mindset.
Yeah, clearly we went on a little crystal Christmas haul.
We did.
And I guess the friend that I connected the most with in our haul is this beautiful dragon. She is a crazy lace agate, super pretty, although the light is kind of...
Can we give it a little shadow?
Yeah, maybe that's good.
So you guys can see
but similarly detailing to what Jake said, kind of had a moment of just holding it, admiring it, laughing a little bit and connecting. And so, yeah, this has been my personal desk dragon that's been hanging out with me during the days recently.
Yeah.
But the Sagittarius energy really is about that energy of joy. So it's very, the task is very simple. That which brings you joy is the right thing to be picking right now. It's all about anchoring in that frequency and, letting the vibration get as high as you want it to go. Not to get into the techniques of the moon right away, but we're right next to the galactic center. So we're so close to channeling source, where we have such a strong connection right now at this moment in time. To God source energy. And so the vibrations can get very high. I saw Emma had said something about that in the chat. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, speaking of the moon, there have been a few things that we've thought of that have reminded us of the astrology, and Corbin's definitely the pro here at identifying these things, so I lean on him for that. But it's my favorite thing when I'm talking about something and he just goes, "Oh my God, that's and then highlights the astrology of the moment. And there always is something. And it's usually very obvious and very straightforward.
Well, the energy of these moments isn't defined to, the hour of the new moon or anything. We often feel the energies coming in early, or they can, hang around for a little bit longer. Speaking of energies that kind of came in recently, I know the Mars ingress into Capricorn earlier this week was something that I feel like a lot of people kind of have energetically felt, and that one might have even showed up a few days earlier. But I mean, yeah, stories related to this moon feel like they've also been coming in since the beginning of the week. I feel like there's been a lot of that reflection going on, and a little bit of shadow reflection that comes with that too.
Yeah, and indeed, you know me so well, Lynn. I do have my cinnamon tea.
Me too.
And Corbin's got a cup of it as well. It's just our favorite. It's so good.
It's the perfect for the holiday vibes too.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is seasonally appropriate as well. But also it like makes a really good iced tea during the summer too. So like definitely don't limit yourself. Get that hot cinnamon spice tea.
Oh, but I mean, like for a winter solstice celebration,
Mm.
like that cinnamon smell or clove or something like that, that'd be beautiful.
Oh my gosh, we need to make a pot of like is it wassail?
Wassail, yeah,
Wassail
my
or like
family
apple
does
cider.
that. Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Orange and clove.
Ooh, good
Oh yeah,
choice
we've been
there.
on such a cocoa kick too this season. It's been very indulgent, but that's the Sagittarius vibe
I think
too.
Lynn is going cacao. I'm
Oh,
assuming it's
cacao.
cacao. Yeah.
Well,
So a little bit different than our hot chocolate, but
it
still tasty. Still
was
like chocolate
mushroom hot
adjacent.
chocolate. It was healthy.
It was, yeah, it was. Anyway.
But well, I mean, Sagittarius indulgences and like how we have fun and pleasure. I mean, that's inside of that too. So enjoy your cacao or your hot chocolate. Sagittarius likes a warm beverage, that's for sure.
Yeah. So one of the main things that we wanted to talk about first, because this was just really funny, and as Corbin put it, very like on the nose for the season. But don't know if you guys saw the same things that I did, but two things happened yesterday that really like caught my attention, and I brought them up to Corbin, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's what we're talking about tomorrow." So the first thing was the new. Hello, Sirius. Our kitty cat has joined us. The new movie by Steven Spielberg called Disclosure Day. The trailer was released, and if you haven't seen it, it's interesting. I'm interested to see how that movie depicts things. There's already some moments where I'm like, okay, but what is that? What's going on? What is that? But this theme of aliens, and then the second thing that I saw yesterday, which I don't think it was like announced yesterday, but I guess yesterday was it was like the opening of the launch period. But I saw they were talking, and I'll pull up the little screen here. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but NASA is doing some new, like, they're calling them disk satellites, disk sat. And they are literally like circular UFO shaped satellites. I mean, like, look at that. What does that look like to you guys? Does that not look like a UFO? And so there's there's a lot of ideas around like, okay, what is that? Why are they doing this? And it could very well be right, like a cover up sort of situation. Corbin had an interesting point when I showed him that, though. Do you want to share?
I don't know. The only thing I remember right now is me saying, "Oh, so we just admit that we're making UFOs now."
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because you look at that and you're like, "Oh, that is a UFO shaped object," and so all of that, I was like, "What is this interesting like UFO theme? This like." And so explain the astrology behind what I was seeing there.
Well, again, I just went down a little rabbit hole. I thought, well, let's look at Steven Spielberg's birth chart.
He was born yesterday.
Yeah, his sun is here with this new moon,
which is interesting that they released the new movie trailer on it too.
It's when you know that people are working in time. Hey, by the way, astrology is great to tell you when to take action on doing things. That's what like cycle work is all about, and astrology can help you to find that season of time to do the right thing. What's actually even more interesting is that his Mars is in Capricorn as well, so there are both of those signatures present. It's kind of like a very intentional play, shall we say. No coincidence. No coincidence here looking at that both.
Well, I mean, chart. You look at a character like Steven Spielberg, like he's not where he is by accident. There's a lot of things that have put him on that path, and if he's not using, I mean, I feel like that's a pretty clear sign he's probably using some level of astrology in his decision making, or someone who works closely with him is.
Oh yeah, but it's no secret. Well, I thought this was really interesting because here we are at this new moon, and a little bit of the hubbub around 3i Atlas has died down. However, there is still quite a bit of conversation out there because right now it's making its closest pass to Earth. And as I have kind of looked at all of the different charts where Through Eye Atlas has come into close interaction with the different planets in our solar system, going all the way back to when it was first discovered, Mercury, who again is a signifier of comets, Mercury in all of these charts really plays a significant role. It made hard oppositions to all of the outer planets. And through this period since, the discovery in July, there's really been like this overall conversation around like, what do we believe around our position here as humans as we relate to the cosmos, and where did it all come from? I mean, this has been wildly out there just in MSM, not to mention, other channels and stuff like that. And so I just kind of thought that at the end of all of this, you know, after Mercury had made oppositions with Pluto and Chiron and Uranus and had its retrograde and we're back direct again and leaving shadow. And it's like, we're really just left at this moment of what are you going to believe? And that's a huge moment of this Sagittarius new moon as well, is, the topics of belief, with the ruler of this moon, Jupiter, retrograde in Cancer, thinking about rewriting some of those beliefs that we've maybe carried, or thinking about how a certain belief might have held us back for a period of time and served a purpose, but maybe not so much anymore. And so there's something definitely here around this idea of who are we, where did we come from, that came out of the oppositions with Chiron that talks about our identity in Aries and who we are. But it's just really this moment again of like, what are you going to believe at the end of the day, is kind of this overarching thing that I feel like Through Eye Atlas has really helped a lot of, or has posed this question to many of us through the astrology. And so, yeah, the idea that we're going to have like a disclosure on a mass scale, that's something that we should all be kind of asking ourselves whether we think is true or not. I think there's a lot of places where we talk about disclosure happening on a personal or an individual level. I think for many people who haven't thought so much about our position inside of the cosmos or where we came from or whatever, this movie could bring up a lot of fear for others who have, found faith and trust in their beliefs throughout this process over the discourse around Through Eye Atlas, would maybe see this entirely differently. And I don't mean to laugh at the previews for this, but some of the notions of it are just so beyond, there we go, Jupiter, beyond my understanding right now. So anyways, that's some of my ideas about this.
Yeah. I love this, Lynn. Time to let them go now. Lots going to come out to prove us wrong, I think. And I agree. I think that the more that we can admit that we don't know, or be open and curious about the gaps in our knowledge, the better. Mm-hmm. Because at least for me, the more that I understand about not only our physical 3D reality, but also the broader dimensions and the cosmos, and the little bit that I've like been able to scratch away and understand, is like, we know nothing. Like, we know such a small fraction of it at a conscious level. And I definitely believe that we have access to more knowledge at a deeper level, right? But it's certainly something where I think the more that we can remember that we have only our own little perspective here.
Yeah.
And we can tap into larger, higher perspectives when we work at that, right? But we also are here incarnated in this 3D reality and in this physical human body. And so working with that, I think, is part of it for sure.
I love Emma's comment here about there's been a lot of personal disclosure this week. I love that for a theme of this new moon, again, considering that Mercury has now is clearing shadow at this time, is in Sagittarius. So it's all wrapped up in this topic of belief. And at the same time, this is when Through Eye Atlas is closest to Earth. So I love that, Emma. Fascinated to hear more about what's going on there. Mm-hmm. TJ, I saw the comment as well, or kind of the question. And I feel like right now with the north nodes being in Pisces, and this lunar cycle really all is about a conversation between Sagittarius, which is one flavor of Jupiter, and Pisces, which is another flavor of Jupiter. One's the masculine side, one's the feminine side. And with the north node being in Pisces, the feminine side, I might think that more of the passive receptive, not more kind of I think it's more on the individual kind of thing. I'm not sure if there's a lot of energy supporting, I guess kind of, to me, that question feels like it's requiring group work. And I feel like this idea of what I can grab from myself internally through my own connection and channel is part of that Piscean energy. Whereas Jupiter really goes and Jupiter and Sag seeks that information through acquiring it through experience. And so, I would just say this really is a moment of emphasizing finding that quiet time. If you're interested in these topics of personal disclosure, or any sort of deep connection with source, I think since the Gemini full moon, people have not stopped moving. It has been so fast, so wild, so busy, so much on the calendar. And so that's also why I'm saying we need to get into that receptive place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're all over the place, but that's part of the energy right now.
That's really been I mean, I feel like it must be the Gemini mixed with a Sag, where it's just kind of that chaotic, over the top. Like, I feel like most of the people that I've talked to in the last 2 weeks, really, I mean, since the full moon, most people I talk to end up just like running their mouth like nonstop, and it's like 5 minutes later, and they're still like just blah, 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 just talking about usually nothing, or they had a point but they've lost it at some point, and now they're on some tangent, and then I'm just like, okay, well, where are we going with this, or what is the point of this, and then we finally find our way back around, or we don't because they lost their way along the way. And it's been funny because some people are aware of it, and like they catch themselves 5 minutes in or 6 minutes in, they're like, oh wow, I've just been talking, but I have more to say, so I'm just going to keep going. And it's just been really funny to observe. And I don't know, part of like my job has helped me to learn how to be a really good listener, and so I'm not necessarily like uncomfortable or like in a tough spot in those moments. I'm like, I can listen. Yeah, what do you have to share? I'm so interested to see where this is going to go. But yeah, it's been funny, the word vomiting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just giggle because that's Mercury in Sagittarius. The oversharing, the saying too much. That's the Jupiter energy of expansion. I could say it in one sentence, but I'll choose to say it in five, and say it like just three different ways so you really understand the full picture of this, and yeah, sometimes we lose our boundaries and we might overshare. It might get into like especially with Jupiter in Cancer right now, I might get into this emotional lane. I had a few conversations randomly this week with folks that like ended up just kind of being low-key therapy that came out of nowhere because there was just this emotional release that's coming from the verbal component right now. So
definitely. So yeah, very interesting moment.
Anyway, so yeah, that was
UFOs, ET disclosure, fitting that Sag vibe on a few different levels.
Yeah, well, it's just, it's asking these questions, right? And that's what a great philosopher can do, is cause you to reflect and think. And so there's a lot of that coming up. And I'm loving that we're having these new moons at the end of the actual zodiacal season. We're at 28 Sag. It's going to be Capricorn any moment now. My season. I'm so excited. But we've all really lived and experienced that Sagittarius energy. So here we are at the end, and we're like, oh yeah, that's where I need to dial back a little bit. I'm ready to I'm ready to tone that down. Because maybe we all word vomited at one point.
Right. I don't know, other musings on the moon. We had talked about uh, it feeling very much like a full moon
Sure.
earlier this week, and I feel like that's kind of continued in some ways. Um, let us know how you guys have been feeling. But I was that you were referencing like the kind of swap of the moons in that?
Yeah, I can. Well, no, this is the balsamic moon.
Okay.
So just like a small bit of techniques, and then we can talk about why it is that, why it felt like a full moon, perhaps. The balsamic moon is like that last phase, just a little sliver of the moon right before it's dark. And you don't really get to see it anymore because it's rising at a point pretty close to the sun. And so the moon's really going away. And this becomes a period of time where we're closing out something from the previous chapter. The sign that the moon was in during that balsamic phase in these last few days, the sign right before Sagittarius is Scorpio. And so that's where some of that shadow element can come from. We also had a lot of really strong activations inside of the final degrees of Scorpio recently because of that. Mercury retrograde with the opposition to Uranus, which really kicked off all of these questions around beliefs. This has been a longer season on like perception and viewpoint and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, with the dark phase of the moon being in Scorpio this time, it really brought up that shadow for releasing and letting go, which really works beautiful with this energy again, because we're rewriting beliefs, here, or we're celebrating those that we have worked on rewriting, over the last period of time. But so yeah, that's kind of where some of that like heat came from earlier in the week. Sure. I think there was a lot of like difficult emotional release. Again, the topics of shadow coming up to being cleared right now. There's so much of that kind of watery energy going on, supporting us and letting go and transmuting and healing all of this. And so that's why it's coming up more and more right now, because we have the capacity to kind of let go of it. So
yeah. And I certainly have been feeling that a lot. Let us know in the comments in the chat if you guys have also been feeling that full moon energy or that like release energy. Even just today, kind of on like more of a surface level, I was like, you know what? I should go through my contacts. And I should delete some of these like old numbers. And what sparked that was I was talking with someone else who was talking about how they had like 3 Matts in their phone and they didn't have last names and they didn't know which one was which and who was who. And so they didn't bother texting the one Matt that they wanted to text because they would have had to guess. And I was like, how many contacts do I have that are like from literally high school who I will never talk to again, or random people from that one part-time job that I had for 6 months, like there are these people that I'm never going to talk to anymore. And what is that, what is hanging on to that stuff doing? So that was more of like a lighthearted example, but the more deeper stuff that's been coming up for me has been around like self-worth, and like feeling ready and like feeling like I can do the things that I want to do, or that the opportunities that are presenting themselves. We've had some pretty cool manifestation happening in our lives, things that we've spoken about or said, oh, wouldn't it be cool if, or we really need to find that. And then a few weeks later, it just plops into our lap. And so along those lines, there've been these moments of like, well, am I ready? Well, do people really want to hear from me? Or well, I haven't read enough books though. Like I don't have enough knowledge like to really be, someone that could speak or could share or could teach in these ways. And so it's been interesting because that's also been woven in with my history with religion and some of the experiences that I had growing up with that, and how I thought that I had dealt with that in a more like neat and tidy way. And I was reminded this week that there is still some of that within, at the very least, my body, and probably a little bit elsewhere as well. And so it's been a little frustrating at times, but also like, okay, well, I'm like ready to be done with this. Like I'm ready to let this go. Like, come on, what do I need to do to let this go? I'm done with it. And I feel like for me at least, the realization or the revelations that I've had are around like being courageous and saying yes, even though I might not know how it all plays out. Um, I've been trying to talk about the things. So here I am talking about it again, talking about the thing and really airing that out and being honest with myself and with the world so that I can be like, no, I don't need to hold on to this anymore. It's not in the shadows. It's like out in broad daylight. Let it go. Let it go. So yeah, exactly, Emma. Please, new chapter, please. And at least like a lot of what we've talked about is February being a really pivotal change moment for us. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there is that clear conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, 0 degrees of Aries, big darn deal. I'm sure we've all heard about it at this point, right at the beginning of February of next year. So yes, absolutely. I think a lot of us in the last 2 weeks, now that Neptune has stationed direct at the end of Pisces, we're sensing that timeline is coming quickly because now both of those planets are moving towards that point. And so this topic of, big endings, closing chapters, tying up loose ends, letting go, eliminating that which you don't need anymore. We're lightening our loads to get ready for the next chapter at hand. That's so true. At the same time, when Mars moved into Capricorn this week and hit 0 Capricorn, that activates 0 Aries by square and it really initiates all this cardinal energy. So part of it is starting right now because we're going to have this big influx of Capricorn energy over the next 2 weeks as we move into Capricorn season. Venus will enter, the sun will enter, Mercury will eventually get there. And so we'll be ready to start working towards that newer mission because it really is coming into sight right now. Can feel it in my thighs as I'm talking about it. So that's really cool. But it really is, just coming up right around the corner here. How many of us are already thinking about next year? And so making a plan to be taking action 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that from now. I mean, yeah. You might start doing it a little bit more internally. You might be getting your ducks in a row at home before the ducks. But so yes, I think in a lot of ways, and a few people said this in the chat, the letting go of the personal belongings. TJ, I saw that. It's like, yeah, Venus, she's right here. And you were talking about the relationships, the things that we have and the people that we have. She's right next to the moon right now. So yes, that is something that we are assessing to, again, lighten the load to help us, move forward. That Aries energy is all about being like free and moving fast. Freedom is one of those big words. Mars wants to move towards the goal and not be burdened or bogged down by
running horse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that horse energy again coming up. Exactly.
It's the
year of the horse.
Well, yeah, but what kind of horse? So it's the wood snake.
I don't remember.
Metal horse? Is it metal horse?
I can do a quick Google search.
It doesn't really matter at this moment, but also hi Ken, hi Kyla,
hello Kyla, hello
hi Carol,
Ken.
Hi Jody, hello everyone.
Fire horse.
Fire horse. Oh, even more like go get them.
Yeah, right. Very initiatory energy.
Yeah, Jody, new chapter, please. I do feel like it's getting to the end of so much emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there is that feeling of like, okay, but I'm done. Please. Can we be done though? And I am being reminded life is cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
You might feel like you're in the same place as you were, but it is more than likely a higher expression of that, or the next iteration of that, the next unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely feel you there. Oh my gosh.
But
Will you send some to us, Emma?
At the same time, there's that Christmas song, One More Sleep. And there'll be one more sleep, like until Christmas.
I think I know that
Leona
one.
Lewis. But anyways, but in my head it was One More Cry, because I think we all probably have like one more good purge left in us. Yeah. Everyone.
Yeah.
Something to let go of. It is the season.
Oh, thank you, Emma. You knew. Emma knew. I'm behind you
Linda
though.
too.
Oh, and Linda too. Y'all are great. Thank you.
Enough trivia in the future.
Oh, it's yours, Lynn? Nice. That makes sense. I feel that fire horse energy with you. Beth saying, is the conjunction in May?
Yeah. Well, I was just saying when Mars entered Capricorn this week, that kind of, by square kicks off some of that energy. We haven't had a lot of direct motion in a cardinal sign recently, but Mars is just the first. And then, a bunch of other planets will be entering Capricorn, and kind of as it crosses over 0 Capricorn, definitely, by resonance triggering 0 Aries. So yeah, there's the foot in 2 worlds right now, but that's Sagittarius energy for you. It's mutable, it's up, it's down, it's good, it's bad. And so, but yes, absolutely, it can be coming in right now. And then I think the other thing that I said was, because Neptune is now stationed direct within the last 2 weeks, both Saturn and Neptune are marching towards that 0 Aries. So yeah, it's coming. Us intuitive folk are feeling it for sure.
Also, hello, Golden Trinity. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's been interesting energies for sure. And I think most people that I talk to are feeling that. And even people who are not the kind of people who would say the energies are weird are feeling that and expressing that in some way, shape, or form.
But one of the ways that we do see this energy already coming in that we had on here, this growing like dissatisfaction in the general population of like maybe non-spiritual or non-religious folk who are really beginning to see more of the dysfunction, more of the, systems crumbling. That's part of this Saturn Neptune, right? Both closing out here in Pisces, wrapping up some of the systems things. And there's been quite a few moments inside of just, I don't know, I mean, more and more recently, where you're just kind of hearing it of common everyday folks who maybe aren't consciously awakening. I recall in a work setting somewhere, a client or something for my corporate world made a comment somewhere, and just kind of that small chit chat that happens. And it was something around, well, that's healthcare in America for you. And I just was kind of, I mean, we all have our own personal opinions, but to have such kind of blatant disparage just very commonly thrown out, I was like, oh yeah, more and more people are kind of sensing that something is awry. And that's part of that Saturn Neptune energy. When they get together, there can be a loss of hope. If Neptune could represent hope and belief, and Saturn representing an obstacle or something getting in the way of that, or the diminishing or weakening or taking away of. And I think for people who don't have a spiritual ground to sit on, some of the bad news is really tough to swallow. And so, well, one, I think about our role in compassion at this time, but maybe you want to share just more about how we're kind of seeing this and hearing this, and then what us light workers on the ground need to do.
Well, I mean, even just today, I was talking with someone, and she was talking about her experience with it was something like financial, like grant stuff, and she was getting basically the situation boiled down to like her kind of getting shafted by the people who were supposed to be funding, and basically them saying, oh no, you don't get this reimbursement because of X, Y, and Z, and her being like, what? You never communicated that, and the general discourse was around just the failings of the systems, and how you have these situations where things are supposed to work out a certain way, and we're told that this system is supposed to work this way and help you in this particular fashion, and then you get there and it's not at all that way. And in fact, it's like it's the opposite. You feel like you're being worked against. And she brought up the United Healthcare situation with the what happened last year, and she said like the dispose basically whatever those 3 words that they were throwing around about how insurance companies treat us and how we are nothing to them, and there's no desire to help or and so that was definitely a moment where, and this woman is like well-to-do. She's not like necessarily struggling in the world. And she's feeling it in her own way. And so it really, I think, is hitting most people in one way or another. I mean, you look at here in Minneapolis, like every single person I talk to complains about the roads. And it's just this common, like, oh my God, the roads are terrible, and we give them so much money, and they're just terrible. And yet everyone feels just so very hopeless about the situation because we feel like we don't have anything to do. TJ's comment?
Yeah, absolutely. TJ.
Yeah. I keep having to remind myself that the exposure of failing systems is what we need to move forward. It's hard to experience, though. Exactly. Oh, yeah. And I think that's where
because we're getting ready to move forward again.
Yeah.
That's that Neptune and Aries, Saturn and Aries conjunction. It's the beginning of a new way of doing things. It's creating a new structure of how this all works. But yeah, there's a period right now where more and more people are needing to be exposed to that, to kind of see what's going on, to open up space, to be ready for what is next.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not to like throw more and more examples here, but I do just remember one other one from my sister had a coworker, and it sounded like there was an issue where a colleague was on a medication that made her just like irritable and like difficult to deal with, and that basically was part of the medication. And I just think about like Pisces being, drugs, prescription drugs, right? Or healthcare. And Sagittarius, the belief of how we do that, or the philosophy, the ideology of how we take care of people. And there's that hard square between, all these planets in Sag and all these planets in Pisces right now. And so, I mean, anyways, but yes, it's all about focusing, perception, right? Pisces is also about like, what is the vision that we're choosing to look at? Sagittarius is the same thing too. And so, we can only spend so much time there.
And this really brings it around to like, okay, what are we doing with this? What are we doing in the world that we live in? And it certainly is something where we support each other, and we help remind each other and encourage each other, and help hold that perspective and remember that that we are moving in this positive direction, and that it may look very different at the moment, but that's because there is this darkness before the calm. And I think one of the things that has been coming up in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different expressions, is this need for us as light workers, as people who are here to hold that light, to hold that that higher frequency, to help anchor in that resonance. Like we are called to bring that out into the world. And this is a concept that I learned growing up in Christianity, of like it's your job to bring Jesus, the light of God, out into the world, that you're supposed to spread that. You're supposed to spread that love, and whatever words you're using to describe that, the concept is the same. We're here to spread the light, to spread the love, to do what we can to uplift folks and remind them that there is a different perspective, and that you can. I mean, the amount of times that I like try to subtly say, well, have you tried turning the news off? Have you thought about not watching the news every moment of every day? You can still stay informed and not have it on 24/7. Did you know? Like, it's some of those things where you do your best to provide what you can, but also understanding and respecting that people are going to do what people are going to do, and they're going to be where they're going to be. And we have a limited amount of influence on that, and that is only as much as our souls have agreed to support each other in that,
these are beautiful intentions for a Sagittarius new moon, to be able to hold the light, to help hold that light for others. If you have your life jacket on, to assist someone with their life vest as well. That's probably, maybe back to like, how can we initiate, a change forward? Maybe that's the best thing that we need to be doing right now, is working on that, much smaller scale. There's, just like limitless amounts of how far a smile can go, or a kind act. And there's so much being drawn to that, again, with Saturn and Neptune just turning around inside of Pisces, and the North Nodes there, that we, yes, living by example, exactly, Emma. That is part of the mission at hand right now. We'll be more on stage doing that next summer. Like, that embodied experience of it will be more part of what 2026 is about. So working on that, thinking about that right now, getting comfortable with it if you haven't, is really, really supported by the astrology at this time.
Yeah. It's a wild time to be alive.
Profound spiritual growth. Yeah, it's a moment for profound spiritual growth.
Sure. Yeah. We had talked about our laughter and our tears meeting our new crystal friends this week, and the experiences of that expansion. And that was one way it showed up for us. But I think this is another expression of this, another way of embodying and thinking about our own spirituality, and how we share our light with the world in a new or a different way, or maybe not even a different way, but just kind of recommitting to it, even too. I think it's easy sometimes to feel that hopelessness ourselves, especially when we are kind of inundated, and a lot of us are spread out around the world, right? And we're all talking about how much we love each other in the chat, and it's wonderful that we have each other and we're able to connect via technology. But we are spread out for a reason, and that is to spread our light with those that are not in our immediate spiritual soul family, or at the same
exactly
level of understanding.
Same reason why we're not all born into like families of light workers, right?
Yeah.
Well, we all play divine roles for each other, no matter what. So.
Oh yeah, and that's those folks who are not consciously awakening. I love that phrase. I love the way that you can reframe that. But they are providing a foil for us. They are providing a mirror for us. They
might be doing more work than we are,
right?
Honestly, I mean, from a soul's perspective.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And there definitely can be that nuance there, because at that soul level, you never know where they could be coming from, or what their soul, where their soul actually is. But yeah, it is lots of growing and learning for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I love that too. And looks like you guys are all seeing angel numbers, and so I love that.
I was noticing the 444 here locally too.
Oh yeah, nice. I was not focused on that, but and yeah, exactly, Jody. It is definitely important to take care of ourselves too, because as Corbin said 2 seconds ago, you're just securing your own oxygen mask before you help others, or securing your life vest before you help others. And so I think that's where some of our own personal practices can help support us in the broader work that we're doing, right? And doesn't mean that you have to give. Sometimes you have to take that step back. And I feel like that's always a lesson that pops up for people around this time of year, is like that balancing, that discernment, that understanding your own energy levels, and choosing when you need to slow down.
Well, and again, Jupiter, the ruler of this new moon, retrograde in Cancer. Yeah. Assessing the levels of caretaking that you are doing for others, how much you are taking care of yourself, how much you're nurturing yourself, how much you're loving yourself, how much you're protecting yourself, is absolutely, part of a level of beliefs that many of us might be working on right now. And a ton of that can be triggered by the holidays, or interacting with our family, again, Cancer relates to that period in childhood and some of those things that you learned from your parents. So maybe you learned a few beliefs around taking care of others, or what you need to do to receive love or earn love. I think that can get wrapped into this too. And so, yeah, I kind of love how you just naturally went there, because that's that's the theme.
Yeah. And that is the thing, is you don't necessarily have to have the astrology knowledge to see how it expresses, and to be working with and understanding the energies at a subconscious level too.
Because we are all taking in the sun. I mean, the sun is telling us, it's telling our eyes, it's telling our bodies, all of our DNA on a level of what season it is, and where we should be, how the flow of life is unfolding. And so, I mean, yeah, you don't need to consciously know, you just need to have your eyes open. And not like in an awakened kind of way, just the sun tells you.
Oof, yeah. Well, I'm glad that we can provide some confirmation, though. Yeah, getting hit over the head with the same message, I can relate.
Well, the great side of it, on the other side of it, on the transformed side of it, there's so much more space for embodiment of that good side of Jupiter, which is being I'm trying to stay away from caretaker. It's this wisdom around sharing, a wisdom around I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's caretaking in a responsible sense, and then there's like the codependent caretaking, or the unbalanced caretaking. And so caretaking in and of itself is not a bad thing. But it is when you lose the balance and you stop taking care of yourself because you're so busy taking care of others.
And then Jupiter helps you to get this higher perspective on it, where perhaps you understand that self-love comes first, and that's needed for any sort of care. Okay, anyways, going down rabbit hole. Are there other things that we were talking about?
I don't know if you wanted to share that bit.
I just feel like we've been doing just
we've been all over the place. we're doing pretty good. I mean,
do you want to bring up your site or anything?
I could, yeah.
Should we show off the stuff?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, let me
We'll probably do like a show later on to launch the wares.
Launch it.
But I've been really busy behind the scenes building out some extra stuff on Jake's site. And this would be our Pisces Portals resin art creations.
Because it's
under your logo.
Under the logo. But Pisces Portals up in the corner. If you go to the home, you will see this wonderful stuff. We've got our resin creations up. Some of you may know, some of you may not. But we've been doing resin creating for a moment now. Recently, though, within the last year, we've set the goal of selling some of our resin stuff, because we've gotten pretty good at it, and we have a lot of it, and we like creating.
You can only give away so many.
You can only give away so many. And so we have some skulls. We have our pyramids as well, so our orgonite pyramids. And you guys can definitely go over there and explore what we've got. We've got some of the crystal skulls up as well. We've got a couple different sizes of things, and a couple different expressions of the resin.
But when we're talking about sharing joy and light and stuff like that, I mean, this just brings Jake and I so much joy.
Yeah. Oh my God, this one. I love this one so much. But yeah, you can go check out the beautiful crystal creations that we've got going on, and they are available for order. Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you, TJ. My pyramid is on my desk, so I can look at it all day. It's gorgeous, and the vibes are lovely. I love that so much. Oh, thank you so much, Sylvia. Yeah.
Well, and we'll talk about it more maybe in a launch show, but we started doing this when we quit smoking cigarettes, and we just needed things to do with our hands and keep our minds busy. But working with imagination and working with creativity has been yeah, just such a blessing in our lives
Yeah.
over the last few years. And so it's really fun to share it with other folks now.
Yeah, it's been a journey, and it's exciting to share, and especially the people who appreciate it, and not that our like friends and family that we've gifted these over the years, that not that they don't appreciate it, but
Hmm.
they don't necessarily understand the full vision behind
Yeah.
our creations. And so especially you guys, Soul Tribe in the chat, those who are watching the videos here, um, I think you guys get it a little bit more, or on a different level, than just like the beauty of it on the surface. And so, yeah, a lot of fun to share, and good for you, Ken. Good for you. Yeah, it is.
We did it as our birthday present. So
Mm-hmm.
um I will just say this one funny thing about the
What?
well, when we kind of decided like, oh, we're getting good at this. We're doing something with it.
Mm.
We
Mm-hmm.
had given, you know, we'd just given many things away to friends and family. And one day one of my friends was over and she said, "Oh, I had this like wild party at my house and this guy who was on a lot of drugs, I don't know what, but came up to me with the pyramid that you made and said, 'This has amazing energy.'" And so it was just one of those moments where I was like, cool. Yeah, people can see the vibes that are coming from it. Love that. That's confirmation in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it surely has been one of those things where it's like, we really do, we put a lot of intention into what we do. It's both like fun and artisan craft at the same time. So
Mm-hmm. And yes, I know the international shipping and the tariff stuff is a little wild right now.
mhm.
Things are a little unstable.
We just had a
Well, yeah, I
yeah,
had ordered from our good friend Lauren, who was just on our channel last night.
some of her
Her
beautiful
artwork,
yeah.
her light language, her transmissions, beautiful stuff, and ordered it a long time ago. And we were like, where is that? So when we checked it, it had ended up being returned, and turns out the new tax stuff is just a bit of a nightmare, which makes sense because a lot of things just like happen and then they toss them out there, and then everyone has to kind of scramble to figure things out. And I feel like this is highlighting the ways that we need a different system of communication and working together.
It makes me think
But
of like universal time as well.
oh my god, yeah, right, the time zones. How many times
Ah!
do you like have a workshop or
Yeah,
a call or
but
something and you're like, wait, what time zone, where are they? Wait, but what is that time is that for me? It's a
this is
mess.
now getting into a different show,
Yeah,
but
anyway. So yeah, that wanted to share our organite stuff. We'll probably do a show in the future, kind of talking a little bit more about our process and
yeah.
kind of what goes into it and all that, because we definitely want to share more. But yeah, hope you guys are riding the waves of these energies as well as you can.
Take some quiet time. Like I know we did 3 circles in 3 nights this week, and I
Yeah.
was like, who put this on the calendar? And they were all beautiful and they were all great. But like I said, we've all been just incessantly busy since the Gemini full moon. And now would be a good moment to look at where your time has kind of overflown Jupiter, and where you can, take a moment to commit to some silence,
Hmm.
to connecting with source, to anchoring in the higher vibes of the moment right now. Because again, the alignment with the galactic center, it's a beautiful moment for some really profound spiritual moments. The portal is very thin with the winter solstice, right? I mean, and so I hope you are celebrating this in a big way with your friends, a beautiful bonfire. But please take a little bit of time for yourself too.
Yeah, and it's hard, it's challenging. I mean, even as soon as today I was like, well, but like, do we really need all 3 of those days off in a row, or like, can we fit one more thing in? And I'm like, oh wait, but Jake, you had things planned morning, noon, and night for like 14 days in a row. Do you really not need time? And so it's been kind of reining myself back in as I've been like, oh, but more, just a little bit more. And it's exciting, and you want to see people and you want to do things, and yet it's about that balance, and finding that balance. And um, so encourage you to do that in whatever way that looks like for you. And yes, thank you, Ken. Don't forget to hit the like button. As Lynn is saying, go hug some trees.
Yes, hug some trees.
Excellent, wonderful way of grounding and of just like settling your energy. Like it really does work in like an instant. You go hug that tree and you feel different afterwards. So, oh, right, Emma. Sometimes, but also like sometimes I want more. You know, sometimes I like the busyness and the excitement and the fun but anyway, we could ramble for hours. Love you guys. Appreciate you joining us for the show. And those of you watching the replay, we appreciate you as well.
And we'll see you. This is the last one for the calendar year.
Yes, the last of our shows. So we'll see you in the new year. Don't forget to join me and Beth tomorrow morning. We're doing a little home energy.
More shows.
One more show. Just one more.
So I said we're all going to cry one more time too.
One more. I know. On the other side of that show, I'll be like, okay, here I'm crashing. It'll be fun though. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful holidays doing whatever you do, whether it's celebrating big or small. Yeah. All right.
Lots of love.
Lots of love. Bye, guys.